This is not my line. This is her night line. Her line. It's fight night bitches.
Hey everyone, I'm Cynthia Conte for The Real Fight. Sisi God, thank you for joining me. I know I reached out to you earlier, or actually the other day, because I saw something that was so strange and disturbing, and it was very shocking actually. A lot of people have been taking to Twitter, or I've been researching it once I saw it, and I wanted to invite you on to interview you because I wanted to give you a platform to use your voice. I'm not here to say whether you're right. I'm not here to take sides because that's not my job. I'm just here to let you tell your story of what exactly is happening. Um, right now, this is very strange. The very last time I saw you and Adonis Stevenson, former WBC champion, it was in December at the WBC convention. Happy, go lucky, everything was perfect. Fast forward to April, you're writing this 4-page open letter that he left you, or what happened? Can you please explain or tell your side of the story of what exactly is happening?
Honestly, I can't begin to tell you how much these last few months I've been trying to be strong and to keep it together for my daughter, but I haven't been okay. I had to even go as to my family taking a decision and saying, "Hey, Cece, like we need to put you on a vacation for a few days." I don't know if you guys saw on Instagram that I went to Dubai just to clear your mind
Yeah.
because you are not okay. Because the way that Adonis and I, was a term to our relationship was not by choice.
Hmm.
And I was completely blindsided because things were here. We were doing so fine at the WBC. Let's go as far to my daughter's birthday, everything going so well. But there was a lot that I was keeping on the hush in terms of the family dynamic,
Hmm.
just because my goal was that Adonis gets better. And I didn't think that it was everybody's business that, his other side of the family. And so my in-laws were attacking me because I was responsible for, the power of attorney of Adonis. And I was doing everything that I can to try to get him better, put him in therapy, taking the best decisions possible as a spouse, as somebody that loves him and that wants the best for her partner. And so every time I would do that, I would get extensive emails from his mother's lawyers saying that Adonis is not going to the WBC. Everything that I would decide for him was always contested. But because I was the power of attorney, she didn't have no sort of say. And then
Real
there was a
fast,
huge,
I want to ask you
yeah.
this because when you say power of attorney, first of all, I'm confused and I read so many things. Were you married, or were you his girlfriend or his fiance? I've read so many different things that I assume that you guys were married, but I don't know.
Yeah. The reason why you assume that we were married is because Adonis would consider me his wife and call
Yes,
me his wife.
yes.
That was always a term that he would use, and we did have plans to get married. He did, ask me to get married prior to the injury, and we were common law spouses. In the name of law, we were common law
How long
spouse.
have you guys been dating and married, or living together?
We were living together for more than 2 years. And so we were like, with the incident too, a year after, I was, I was there for him throughout the whole period of time. And, even to the point where when I was in court, his mother was contesting the fact that I was his woman. It was a psychological, how do I say it, everything to put me down. And those things I didn't really share, with anybody, because it's not for everybody to
Yeah, you
know.
don't need to. How
you
did
know
you get the power of attorney, since is it
the
by
reason
common law?
Yeah, not by common law only, but because Adonis was referring to me as his wife. And
Oh,
also we had a lot of, he invested in a lot of my businesses and my brand, and we were partners in business.
okay.
So, and it showed also there was significant proof that I was implicated in the finances. together.
Okay.
You understand? And that Adonis trusted me. There was significant proof that Adonis had a lot of trust in me. And so that's why the judge found it fair to name me. And so since that happened, it sort of kind of caused tension to the point where I said, hey, look, like, I don't even want to, be, uh, responsible and take this load. I'm okay to not be his power of attorney if, it's really frustrating the family. I just wanted peace. I wanted the best for Adonis. Here you are, you love somebody, and you're trying to make things work with the other side of the family, and they're doing everything to, belittle your name, belittle your integrity, telling you to leave him at the hospital and take your child and go away. um it's been a very difficult moment until the last straw for me was when they took Adonis away in the middle of the night. And so
What do you
I
mean?
just
Like you guys were sleeping and they came into the house?
no, it was around dinner time. It was like nighttime, and so we had an appointment with the lawyer, right? And the lawyer that was appointed, that I hired for Adonis Sense. Okay.
Okay.
I hired for Adonis to be his voice. And he always told me, I protect you, I protect Adonia, I protect your family. I didn't find it worth it for me to get a lawyer because we're together, and
Uh,
why would I get a lawyer?
yeah.
If he's taking care of Adonis, he's taking care of us, right? And he needs a lawyer. And so the mother had hired a lawyer for her interests. And so what happened was is that in the middle of the night, he said, can I, like, not in the middle of the, like, it was like supper time. I went out to go get some supper. He said, can I meet with him alone? And when he said, can I meet with him alone, he took him away. And I said, hey, taking a while. Is everything okay? I called the lawyer. He said, Adonis is not coming back. And I said, what do you mean Adonis is not coming back? And then he said, Adonis doesn't want to be in a relationship with you anymore. I said, that's strange. Like, he just told me that he loved me, like, just before he left. Like, I don't understand. I thought it was a joke at first,
Yeah.
like, it was so weird. And then I said, can I speak to him? He said, no, you can't speak to him. Tomorrow, um, you know, we'll get to speak. You'll get to speak to him. And at this point, I'm caught up. Here I am. Do I have to call the cops? Because, I don't want the media to get involved. He's saying tomorrow, maybe give Adonis his space. I don't know, like, what's going on here. Is he saying tomorrow? It was a bad night for me. So, um, I mean, I had no idea. He didn't even tell me where he was taking Adonis. And let me put it this way. We had our home, right? And I couldn't even stay in our home the way the half brothers were threatening me. The police even told them they would come to our home unannounced and say, this is not your home because you're not married. This is not your home. You didn't pay for this home. My brother paid for this home. So it got to the point where threats got so hard that we moved into a condo. And the night that we moved into a condo where I went to go get supper because we were moving on to our lives, the lawyer took him away from me. And the next thing I saw him is at court, and he's on the other side this time with the mother's lawyer's side, and he's speaking on the mother's behalf. And they made a deal.
I mean, this is so weird because, just when I spoke with you about it, just yesterday, actually. So I started doing my homework, and there's a guy, Stevenson, his promoter, Yvonne
Yeah.
Michelle. He did an interview or conducted an interview with TVA Sports, and he said, what I can tell you is that Adonis is fine. He is well surrounded and advised. He will soon make a public statement to present his point of view on the situation. Simone God said many things from her perspective. Adonis will now be able to give his version. Despite the financial losses he suffered, Stevenson as well. He's not on the street. He has a lot of money, but not enough for the rest of his life. In the past year, there has been a significant leakage of money, but the gap is closed. So obviously, I mean, they're saying that you allegedly withdrew $891,000. I read in the letter that you sent me that it was for the house. Do you think that, I mean, for Adonis to allegedly, this is all allegedly because I don't know, was he speaking to possibly the lawyer, and was he worried? Did he know about his own finances? Since you were the power of attorney, I mean, when I saw you guys, he was much better, but was he in the capacity, was his mind there to know, like, oh, this is my money and how much is being spent?
With Adonis, there's always been a transparency, whether he's sick or not. I've always kept that transparent. I was bringing him to his bank people for him to, understand, see everything that's going on, for his mind to come back, bring him to our home that's in construction, always bring him to our appointments if he's not in therapy. There's always been a transparency between me and Adonis. And Yvon Michel, it really shocked me. It destroyed me to hear that about him, because he knew how much I suffered. That's one. Number two, it's a family issue. You are Adonis is not boxing anymore.
Yeah.
So what is your interest into the file now? Then you want to talk about, do you have proof? Do you have alleged proof documents that I took $890,000? Because from what I hear, Yvon Michel has been hired from the lawyer, Adonis's lawyer, to speak on his behalf. He said that Adonis was supposed to come out a week ago and speak. Adonis is unable to speak. Yet, he gave you interviews at the WBC. That goes to show how Adonis is not doing well, because he's not doing any therapies. And this is just a front. Yvon Michel is just there to speak and say, Adonis, everything is going well and things like that. It's just promoter talk. Yvon Michel is in no power to speak on the family's behalf. He's in no power to speak with Adonis. Where is Adonis? He said Adonis was going to speak for a week. I've been waiting to see that. And then he spoke to you guys several times.
So you have
Adonis,
zero contact. Like,
I have zero contact to the man I took care of when he was unable to eat, unable to speak. I was there throughout his whole therapy.
I know.
It's torture for me. It's torture for my daughter. And then, I feel so insulted, Cynthia. This makes me want to cry. And I'm okay to do a paternity test.
Yeah.
I'm okay to do a paternity test. I don't have a problem with that. But what hurts me the most is that the person that I suffered did everything. I went through postpartum depression. People don't know that. People don't know I went through postpartum depression.
You just had a baby. Yeah.
Yeah. My baby was 3 weeks old.
Yeah.
3 weeks old. And no help. I asked my mother-in-law to help me. I asked her to help me. I said, please come help me. She didn't want to help me. And this is so sad for him. My heart breaks for Adonis. And, I've been contemplating, should I go to the public? But at this point, I'm like, the people who loved Adonis, who knew how much he loved me when he was in his full capacity, when he was his full capacity, they would know that he would want to protect his children. None of his children are living in his home. None. Okay.
How many children does he have besides Adonis?
He has 5 children.
Okay.
5 children. There's no money that's going to be left for any of the children because there's too many lawyers on the file. There's not one lawyer on the file.
Really? How many?
The mother's lawyer. He's paying for the mother's lawyer. He's paying for his lawyer, his own lawyer. He's paying for another lawyer that for the ex-baby mothers that was hired for child support. Everybody is coming at him. Then there's an accountant on file that's handling the finances at $570 an hour. And he told me that Adonis is going to be in disability soon. So my job as a duty is I have an interest. I have a daughter. And Adonis needs to be protected. And his children. That's all I want. I can work. And they're trying to paint a picture that I took $890,000. I want to see the proof that I took $890,000 because I never took that. All the lawyers would be on my side if I had $890,000 today to defend myself. I don't have $890,000 that I took. Let's put that clear, that I even spent on work that needed to be done.
Oh, because I saw
it doesn't even go
in your letter that you wrote.
Yeah.
It did say, so I wanted to just make that clear. The $890,000 was allegedly used for the house.
Yeah, a lot of the
who created
expenses.
that? Okay, for expenses. Okay.
Yeah, a lot of the expenses were made because we were building a $2 million estimated home. There's a lot of work that needs to be done. So the majority of the money went towards work that was already done that needed to get paid. And we had contracts and we had, construction that was done. And I'm not even living in that home anyways. Adonis is not even living in that home anyways. That's in like a house that was in construction. And so the house that we were living in today, you see his half brothers are living in there. How sad is that? And then we were put out our home, me and my newborn.
uh, that what this is when did this all happen? January, February?
This happened in December.
Right after I saw you guys.
In December. This happened. That's why I'm saying it's not Adonis Adonis has cognitive difficulties to the point that if he's next to me, he's going to be like, yeah, see. If he's next to his mom, he's going to say, yeah, my mom. It's if he's next to whoever he sees, he takes positions for that person. He is no longer in the capacity to take any decisions for him. That's why he's protected. That's why there's a tutor for his person. That's why there's somebody managing his money. And I'm not sure that right now he's aware that all these lawyers are. How can he say, like the lawyer that was hired, how can he say, for example, this person did this much work on my file? He's not able to check that because he doesn't have the capacity to understand a receipt. And it's just very difficult. That's why I am so hurt, because I spoke to many lawyers, and lawyers told me, unfortunately, Sisi, a lot of people who don't have the capacity, all the lawyers end up finishing their money. That's the reality. And then I said, you know what, I need to step up because they messed with the wrong family, and I am going to fight the way Adonis would have wanted me to fight for our family, and for my daughter to see her father again, and for Adonis to be okay, because it's my duty as a job. And if somebody's not going to take that position, I don't care if the prime minister needs to be involved with Canada, Justin Trudeau, François Legault, the prime minister of Quebec, in order to save people who don't have mental capacity, because this is a huge dynamic. It's not about me anymore. There's many families who write to me and that tell me, wow, my husband too left me because of this situation. People who are married, And so they're like, I totally understand. It's not the same person. They need somebody that loves them to protect them.
Where's his doctor in all of this, or any of his doctors that when he was in the hospital too?
They took
Any
away
of his therapists?
Yeah, all of the therapists, all of the doctors, when they heard this news, they were so shocked because they took him out of the therapy that, I had him in. Okay. And so the lawyer took him out of that therapy. Then you have another issue. All the doctors and all the rehabilitation people that followed Adonis did not speak in court. They hired experts, paid them to say certain things. That seen Adonis one time, evaluated him one time, and I don't doubt those experts, but they evaluate them one or twice to do reports right away in court to come in their favor. It wasn't, the 6 months, 7 months doctors who analyzed Adonis from the beginning, and the rehab wanted to come into place and come to court and say, hey, look, we know Adonis, we have an interest in our patient being, in the right place. And they didn't think that he was doing good with the family and his mother, because his mother is 76 years old. She has a husband that's sick as well. And so it's a lot of responsibility. You have to drive him to his therapies. You can't hold that responsibility with his half brothers to drive him to, his appointments. That's something that I would do out of love. And when I was managing the accounts, let's get back to that, I was doing it for free. So it's like, for them to say that and then hire his mother, rather have an accountant at the $570 an hour, but that it's not me, even if it's for free. That's how much he doesn't like me. And then to go and convince Adonis I will do a paternity test. It's not a problem. But to convince him that his daughter is not his and to not allow him to see her, you're not looking out in his best interest. You are not looking out in his best interest. And it's just so hurtful. I can't begin to tell you how much I cried every day. I've been crying since the hospital. Every day I would come back from the hospital, it was like a fight with the mother. And I kept that secret because my focus was for Adonis to come out strong and to defend our family, which I thought he would. Today, Yvon Michel wouldn't be the person talking bad about me if Adonis had a 100 capacity. I guarantee you he would put him in his place.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
It's so strange because I was looking back on our interviews,
Yeah.
and it was the best interview. I mean, just listening, just watching him speak about you,
Yeah.
that he said it. He was like, if it wasn't for Sisi, I wouldn't be here. She helped me to walk, talk, everything. You wouldn't even want to pull the plug when the doctor said she's vegetable. This is so shocking, and it's sad that it's about money, and he has mental health, and I mean, there's a baby involved. I mean, why now have you decided to come out to the public?
Honestly, I thought it was really important for people to know because his mother and all of the media are reporting that I've stolen and took from his bank account $890,000, and they want to be the first to come out with an article without looking at the facts, without looking at the parties involved. Well, wait a minute. You know, Adonis was just saying this. Look at the WBC. They're not looking at the facts and, you know, the relevancy of how the story played out. And so, they're not looking at proof, legitimate proof. And so that's why it was so important for me to come out. And I wanted people to show them and look and say, look, I need to respond because it's not true. And we need to get out that narrative of, you know, there are some cases of women who, you know, take advantage of men when they don't have the capacity. There are women who are there for the money. But the reality is, it's not my story. It's not mine. It's not Sisi God. It's not Simone God's story. A lot of women, you know, wife and common law spouses leave their man when they're done their fight and they're no longer the champion. My story isn't that. My story isn't that. And, you know, I was a really important person that played out in the therapy and the recuperation of, you know, Adonis. And he very well knows that. And he's expressed that. So to also, to also come out and say these things, it's very hurtful. Number one, because I've given my life, you know, away to, you know, be next to my spouse. And, you know, even with the mental cognitive difficulties, to be quite honest with you, I never wanted to leave my man. I've never wanted, even though he was changed, I loved him with all of his difficulties, which goes to show how much I loved him. And so for everyone to say that, it's sad. So it was really important for me to come out because I do feel like the family is trying to ruin my reputation and, you know, assassinate my character and the person that I am. And today I have Adonia is going to grow and know that her father was a former world champion, and to know that, you know, her father doubts her paternity. And it's fine, we could do a paternity test, but it wasn't him, and it's really his mother. But, you know,
so what happens if you do this paternity test and obviously it comes back positive, he is, so what's the next step? Like,
that's what I'm wondering. It's because I asked for child support because we're not together, you know, and, you know, they want to put out the $890,000. So I said, hey, look, you know, like, okay, we're not together. Can you give me child support? She's like, you know what? We don't even know if it's Adonis's child, the mother. And so, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, once I give the paternity test, which right now we're on coronavirus, right? I wish I could do it right away. I would literally do it tomorrow, you know? But the thing is, it's that we can't do it right now. And as soon as we can, I will do the paternity test to just prove it to them, because they're just trying to throw everything my way. but I guarantee you there will be another thing. There will be another thing, because they told me, the mother said, you're not going to get a penny. They just want me to walk out in this. It's more of a personal issue per se than it's more of a personal issue that the mother has, like a huge vendetta against me, than to, to work. And I'm not sure that that's the best interest of Adonis. For somebody who's under his care, whether you like me or not, we have to look at the person which is Adonis, and his best interests.
Has the mom been in his life all his life, or no? Or did
No, no,
oh
his mother abandoned Adonis at the age of 8. Actually, she abandoned him at the age of 4 in Haiti. She came to, from what Adonis told me, she came to Canada, found a new husband, then brought him to Canada. Then he was a troubled child. And then when he was a troubled child, she abandoned him, and Adonis was in the street. He was sleeping in subways at the age of 13 because she threw him in a foster home. And so his mom never raised him. And at the age of 42 now, she's trying to strip him away from his family, when she moved on with another man, had other children. And those children, those half-brothers, are living in her home and taking advantage of all of what Adonis worked hard in the ring for. And the sad thing is these are things that he told me that I knew would happen, but I was in never no place to tell him, do your paperwork, if you know that this is going to happen. I just didn't want to talk about the negative. We were having such a great relationship, and I didn't think about the consequences, that if something were to happen to him, we might not be protected. And so that's a really important thing that I want also, to shed a light on for other boxers too. Whoever you love, just make sure you protect before you get into the ring. You ensure that, you sign a power of attorney and you do a will. Just those simple things to protect who you want love. It doesn't matter who you want it to be. And that way it's straight from and honest, and you protect your children. I think the children are the most important part in this.
Oh God, I just lost my train of thought. I know that Adonis signed the birth certificate but this is even before he stepped in the ring. So
Yeah.
I mean, the mom doesn't even. I don't understand that. Was she around when Adonia was born, or no?
She was around when Adonia
Okay.
was born. She was at the hospital when Adonia was born.
Oh.
She was at the hospital when Adonia was born.
Okay. Oh, this is so, it's tragic. It's just because you've already gone through one thing with Adonis, and that was difficult. And for him to fight back and come back, and now that you're going through this, there was, I don't know if this is true or not, that he was in the subways or not looking dirty. Was he by himself, or was he with people?
He can't go somewhere by himself because he won't remember, but he was with his half brothers. He was wearing like dirty clothes. He wasn't smelling well. And this person that's close to Adonis said, I know that you can't help him right now, but I need to contact the government. Do you have the number of the curator? I need to make a complaint because I'm really afraid for his well-being. And so he wasn't smelling good. He wasn't making any sense what he was saying. He was very confused, and that broke my heart. And then we have other neighbors who live around that's like, wow, I was so used to seeing your beautiful little family and your beautiful home, and I see the half brothers sometimes and Adonis, and it's really like a shit show there at the house. And there's so many people who go there, and it's coronavirus, so they're so surprised. The neighborhood would show so much love to Adonis. All the kids, they knew that there was a champion that lived there, and they knew our family. And so they're so devastated, and even the neighbors are like, Adonia is 100% Adonis, like she looks very much so like him. And so it's true. And that broke my heart. Because when he was around me, I would say, Adonis, you need to brush your teeth, you need to take your shower, therapy. And you know what? You want me to go far as to when we were at the WBC convention, he was showing so much significant progress
Mm-hmm.
in the sense that he was so happy to see everyone, and it was triggering him in such a good way that I didn't have to remind him for once to take a shower and brush his teeth. I didn't have to. He was dressing himself up all by himself. And to show all my work, I put in too much work to turn away now and give up on Adonis. This is the last fight that I have, and I'm asking that his fans, the people that love him, step up for us to, make sure that he's in a good place, that he's doing well, and that his legacy doesn't end this way, because he doesn't deserve this. And his children don't deserve this.
Yeah.
Mostly. It's not about me. It's about him and his children.
Are you lawyered up now? I know that the mother, his family, is suing you for this $891,000 that's been withdrawn without his permission. And I don't know. Are there any other things that she's going to try to sue you for, or just
Well,
for that money?
she's suing me for she's saying $890,000, but the mother wants me to give her $1 million
For pain and
for
suffering,
damages.
restitution.
For
punitive damages.
For punitive damages, she's claiming. She's also claiming that I abused Adonis.
That's a big thing to accuse someone of saying.
Exactly. That's a big thing to accuse somebody of, because if anything, I don't like to talk about certain things, but because Adonis didn't have the cognitive mind, like sometimes he would cry, sometimes he would be aggressive. He was the one who was abusive towards me, but I never made any. Well, I did tell the rehab, sometimes I'd be like, today he's super angry, can you take him back? Because I have the baby. And they would tell me, Simone, if he's hitting you like this, call the police. And I never called the police because I was able to manage it. But I was always scared, sometimes, that something triggers in his mind because it's not him, And so for her to be saying that is so, it's ridiculous, because, how low can you go? You're saying his child isn't his, you're saying that I'm stealing money, you're saying that I abused him, and this is not the reality. Do you have proof that I was physically abusive and all of that? So I'm not that type of person, and Adonis is bigger than me. He's a boxer. let's put it that way. And I was dealing with a lot of abuse myself, and it's just so sad that she would even say something like that. So and I don't know why she's asking for $1 million. I don't have $1 million to give her. Definitely I'm gonna have to defend myself. Definitely I'm gonna have to hire a lawyer to, it's hard for me to trust lawyers right now. I can't lie to you. It's hard for me to trust lawyers in Quebec with the Quebec system after what I've gone through. And after what I've gone through, but I'm definitely going to have to find the best of the best lawyers to definitely defend my case. And I'm not too worried, to be honest, because I know it's not the truth. And also the previous cases I was dismissed, they brought all the bank statements, and they brought all the proof in the bank statements of every transaction I did while I was doing power of attorney. And the judge said, this is nothing that shocks me. He's like, it's nothing that's, I don't see money taken away. It's no expenses that shock me. They had a certain level of lifestyle, they were together. And it was the same judge who gave me the power of attorney. So he said, you know what? It's fine. She's here. If there's questions, ask her. And that's it. So that's why they started new proceedings. And she's starting the new proceedings with Adonis's money. The first thing that also too, Cynthia, that the brothers and the mother asked for when they took away Adonis is his belts, his checks, his money, his checks, his belts, his credit card, all of his, most expensive things. And I brought that back with all transparency, and it hurt me to bring back the belts.
Yeah.
Because it hurt me to tell, it hurt me because it's like, are they really going to do something with it? Because I don't really trust them, because this is what Adonis worked hard for. And so that's the first thing that they asked when they had Adonis's power. And then as soon as they have the money on their side, they're fighting to sue me at this point with Adonis's money. With Adonis's money.
Oh, this is so unfortunate, Cece. I mean, my heart pours out to you and Adonia, and even Adonis. Uh,
Yeah,
how is
100%.
Adonia doing? How is she doing?
She's doing good. She's always happy. She's smiley. She says daddy a lot because she was so
Mhm.
used to seeing him, you
Yeah,
know. And, you know, she misses her father. And I really hope we can get this resolved because, like the judge said, he said to the mother, look, there's nobody that's going to be winner in this situation. And what's really important right now is the children.
yeah,
And the lawyers are only going to end up winning in this. There's nothing that's going to be left for Adonis and the children if you continue this way. And to see that happening, it's very true what he was saying. And so if he found it to be that I was guilty, justice would have brought its case. But this is a civil lawsuit, it's not a criminal suit, you know.
hmm
Let's be clear with that. And they just want to attain my reputation. It's just a malicious intent to bring me down. And you know, I'm too strong mentally for it. I have a beautiful daughter and a beautiful blessing. And today Adonis would want me to be strong for her, to build my career at the top level, to push it and to be strong and to be successful for my daughter.
hmm
And that's what I'm going to focus on once all this is over. And I wish they could just give me peace so I can move on with
yeah.
my daughter. But as soon as I have an opportunity or something big, they hate it. They don't want me to succeed, it seems. You
That's
know,
unfortunate. If I know that you did write this letter too as an open letter, if somehow Adonis just happens to watch this interview, what's your message to him?
my message to him is that, you know, I hope that he's okay and that, you know, it's been a long time that we didn't see him. Adonia loves him. And, you know, we just want him to be okay. We wish you the best. And, you know, you're more than open to come and see Adonia. She's growing. She wants to see her father. And that, you know, we love him. We send him our love.
Well, Cece, I wish you and your daughter the best of luck
Thank
and
you.
just lots of healing and praying
Absolutely.
like vibes. Just, I mean, this is a very difficult time for the world, and then I mean, unfortunately, no
Absolutely.
one can even leave anywhere to do anything. So, I really hope Adonis is doing all right. I hope the doctors step up, all his
Yeah.
doctors step up and say something's wrong. Let's get him treated, whether or not he is supposedly just it's about his mental health and
100%.
God forbid something happens. And I really hope everything works out the way it's supposed to. And I wish you guys the best.